If you like Doom and you like Star Wars, you'll own a copy of Dark Forces by the year's end. Combining the hottest type of computer game around with one of the most popular movies of all time, LucasArts is developing a fast-paced shooting frenzy that can't help but be a monstrous success. Polish up your blaster and flip that stupid blast shield up, kid. You'll need your eyes for this one. In Dark Forces, the situation is once again gloomy for the rebels. The Empire has started production of the Dark Trooper, a mechanized super stormtrooper which will surely spell, doom for the Alliance. You must stop the implementation of these ghastly machines. You'll face impossible odds, but that's not exactly a newsflash to you, is it? Now, nobody's complaining too loudly about Doom's interface, so don't expect LucasArts to do much unnecessary monkeying with it. Arrow keys to move, control to shoot, alt to strafe, you know the deal. There'll be a few new keys you didn't have to think about before, but I'm getting ahead of myself. If you've played Doom, Dark Forces won't confuse you. If you haven't, the concept of fun will confuse you. The graphics in Dark Forces are terrific and fast. This game runs just as fast as Doom, and except for the occasional pause to load in new graphics, is very smooth. Doom fans will appreciate the option to run in full screen mode and still have your gauges visible. The display on the left keeps track of your shields and health both graphically and numerically, and the one on the right shows your energy units which are used to fire your weapons. You'll be seeing a lot of your old friends like Imperial Guards, disgusting bounty hunters, and stormtroopers galore. The troopers are better marksmen here than in the movies, but you still won't mistake them for Han Solo. The soundtrack, which of course features many familiar pieces by John Williams, is rousing, and the digitized sound effects from the movie are perfect. Although Dark Forces resembles its Doom engine very closely, LucasArts has actually created their own proprietary 3D engine called Jedi, which has a few improvements. For starters, you're able to look up and down, which is extremely beneficial since you'll often come across stormtroopers shooting at you from high ledges and platforms. You're also able to jump. Although you won't set an Olympic record, you won't be annoyed by tantalizing objects that are clearly visible but just out of reach. Instead of progressing from level to level, you must complete missions with predefined objectives. It's very common for a scenario to be comprised of more than one level, making Dark Forces a true 3D game. Much like in X-Wing, your character's progress is monitored, and you aren't allowed to move on to other missions until you successfully complete the current one. With the scenarios of Dark Forces being made up of multiple levels, a good automap is essential. LucasArts must have realized the value of an automap you can move around in, and they've improved upon it. A tap of the tab key will pull up a zoomable automap without even having to leave the main menu. Repeated presses of the tab key will cycle through different detail levels, and you can still move around and see where you're going. Anyone who's seen the Star Wars trilogy will find themselves in some familiar territory. Many of the scenarios take place on Imperial ships and even the Death Star. You'll even encounter the light bridge and the trash compactor. But not all the locations will be well known, as the plot of Dark Forces is an extension of the Star Wars saga, not a reiteration of it. No first-person shooter, Star Wars or otherwise, is complete without some really big guns to play with, and Dark Forces is no exception. You'll start off with a standard wimpy blaster, but before long you'll get an improved model with a faster firing rate. From there you get to toy with some sort of mutant plasma rifle, a weird area effect vaporizing gun, and one big grenade launcher that lobs devastating shells at those unfortunate enough to stand in front of it. Doom and Star Wars fans are chewing their own fingers off in anticipation, and with just cause. After playing around with it for a few days, I've come to the conclusion that no true Star Wars fan can be without this game. It's a delight to play, and is by far the best Doom clone I've seen yet. You'll have to wait until November or December for it, but go ahead and get psyched up now. You won't be disappointed.